What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and talk about why I'm very bullish on NIO for tomorrow, why I think NIO is going to make a big move, what technical indicators are suggesting that, and why I believe the market could also play somewhat of a role in that move. However, I'm going to focus more on NIO now and less on the overall market and talk about why on earth I do believe some good news is coming. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details and talk about some big catalysts that can affect the market in NIO, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is, any could be a free NIO share, a free Tesla share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 1 week. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So, guys, I've been having a pretty rough morning today. I recorded this NIO video like 3 times, and every single time there's just another technical issue I've been having, and hopefully this one comes out good. But anyways, guys, I'm here for you regardless of that. It is the weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And when it comes to NIO, there's something I noticed, all right? Looking at NIO, I mentioned that we do have this nice inverse head and shoulders like formation, and NIO could also be dictated by the market. However, I'm still more confined and more focused on how NIO could move. And I really believe we're most likely going to see a nice push into the upside very, very soon. Now, when it comes to the market, please note that when looking at it, it does play a role in how NIO moves, but NIO recently has been making some moves that are a little bit different from the overall market, because when you look at it right here from this perspective, NIO has been holding up a little bit better than other ETFs out there. Now, SPY in turn has actually been pushing up a little bit more, but compared to the QQQ, they're very similar. They're actually in a very similar state, NIO and the QQQ, but NIO is showing more relative strength. NIO is holding up a little bit better as of recent. Now, what else is interesting is there are some analysts that are kind of bearish. Other ones are saying hold NIO. Some of them are very bullish on NIO. So there's a nice mix of them. But I wanted to focus on November. November is a green month 55% of the time. That's how many times NIO tends to close green. And that's a sign that November should be a pretty decent month for NIO too. It's because of Thanksgiving. We know the market likes to pump. Historically, NIO is green 49% of the time on Mondays. And also, NIO has a tendency of actually not pushing up too hard near open, but we tend to actually push up by the second hour of the day. However, we do tend to slow down a bit afterwards, but then we tend to push up more near the closing hours of the day. So by the second or third hour, that's when NIO tends to get its strongest move. Then we tend to slow down and then see another big push near the end of the day, typically for NIO. And another thing that's worth noting about these green days is the short interest has been on a nice downtrend. This is once again a good sign that we are going to see some shorts cover, and we could see the market at least hold up pretty well. Now, when it comes to the market, please note that on SPY, the options chain is not looking the best. And I say this because everyone, or the majority of investors, are just over leveraged on the put side for Friday. All right, people are betting the market's going to crash, it's going to come down by Friday. I can't promise that. Additionally, when you look at the latest economic calendar, you guys could see that Monday we have the San Francisco Fed President Daly speaking on inflation. That's going to be very important, and I do believe the market could slow down because of that, at least later on during the day. However, I am anticipating a nice push into open, and I do think this could help NIO. For Tuesday, there's not much going on. For Wednesday, we have the FOMC minutes plus Jerome Powell speaking. That's going to be very important because if Powell says something the market does not like, it's not going to be good, guys. Got to be very careful. Powell is speaking again at Brookings Institution, and there's no telling how hawkish he may end up being. Additionally, we have no market trading on Thanksgiving Day. And on Friday, we have a very short day, so please be very careful when it comes to these big events, especially Powell's speaking near the end of the day or a few hours before the market closes on Wednesday. So going into NIO, I want to just note one last thing. If you look at SPY, look at it carefully, you can notice that it was respecting this nice pattern that looks like this. we do have potential to actually see a bull flag continuation, especially because Thanksgiving tends to be bullish for the markets. So, like I mentioned in my video from yesterday, if the market makes a U turn and starts crashing down starting tomorrow, which is possible but unlikely in my opinion, it could affect NIO. However, when you look at SPY, as of recent, we've been respecting an uptrend. We're showing some nice strength. The volume is slowing down, but I'm still hoping for a nice continuation. So for NIO, what's interesting about NIO is NIO did come down when SPY was green, when the market was green. This is likely because we are forming this inverse head and shoulders like formation. And this tends to be a very bullish signal for NIO because you can see we had the left shoulder here, we had the head, then we just formed the right shoulder on Friday. So what most people would anticipate is, okay, they're looking at NIO, they see this is a time to start buying into calls, buying into like shares if you are a trader. Am I saying you have to do that? No. But I'm saying this is how the sentiment, the look looks for so many of these investors. So seeing this inverse head and shoulders, it's likely NIO gets a nice push because of this. We also have this very pretty looking gap all the way up to this 11.46 level. So I do believe NIO can fill it. On the 30 minutes, notice that NIO is still respecting a downtrend. So overall, guys, even if NIO pushes up a bit, I don't expect this thing to just like explode to the moon overnight. I want to note that we have strong resistance coming around this 11.8 zone. All right, so be very careful at 11.8 to 11.9 if we get there. However, at the very least, I'm expecting NIO to break past $11 tomorrow. I want to see it actually. I think into open is going to see a small push. It might come down a little bit. And then we're going to see a bigger push by the second or third hour. I would say maybe the second hour or so of the day. Then I think NIO is going to push up pretty hard and maybe go for the gap fill. We can see NIO at 11.46. Very, very possible. However, once the gap fill comes, whether we continue to push and hit the upper trend line or we fail to do it, I do think that because of the Fed speakers, NIO is going to slow down a bit. The market might slow down just a little bit as the time goes on. And we could see NIO close around this 10.8 to $11 zone, a little bit in the green. That is my target on NIO, a green day for tomorrow. Now, just so you guys are prepared, all right, there's something else I wanted to note, and that's the fact that even though we did form a very nice looking inverse head and shoulders here, people could also argue the fact that we have this giant gap down here. Notice how there's this big gap on NIO. If something catastrophic happens, if there's a big headline, the Fed says something very hawkish, if something happens, and let's just say the market takes a huge hit, we start crashing, NIO has this gap down here. So if the whole market makes a U-turn and NIO does end up coming down, we could see this thing go all the way back down to the low nines. Once again, I'm not counting on that. I think it's very unlikely, but I just want to warn everyone. So going back, what I'm expecting on NIO is a continuation and a follow through with this inverse head and shoulders. I want to see a nice push to the upside. From a technical standpoint, I don't think technicals show us much as of right now. If you look at the OBV, we are not seeing. Let me actually look at this on the daily. I think that's going to be more interesting. The OBV is holding up pretty well, which shows that there aren't a whole ton of sellers coming up. The RSI is not actually oversold, so there could be room for downside if that ends up happening. However, I'm not seeing it that way. RSI has been on an uptrend as NIO is pushing up, so this is a good sign of strength. I'm hoping that NIO could continue to push from here. Overall, like I mentioned, on this time frame, on the 3 minutes, NIO is looking more bullish. I say this because once again, we have a nice uptrend being respected from a very shorter time frame near the end of the day. My target for NIO is $11. Tomorrow, like I said, I expect NIO to start pushing. It might be kind of slow into open, but I do think it's going to start pushing and pushing and pushing. Then what's going to happen is we're likely going to see this thing rally to 11.26. That's my target. Then it's going to either slow down and hit that 10.8 to $11 zone. But if this thing does break past 11.25, 11.26, we have the potential to go for the gap fill at around 11.5. So like I said, guys, I'm more bullish than bearish. I want to see this thing hit 11 very soon. But like I said, be prepared for anything just in case. Anyways, that's what I have for this one. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. Thank you and peace out.